everybody. I wanted to share something that was actually kind of difficult to work through. I know sometimes for myself, and I know there are a lot of other people, there are certain things in our life that can make us anxious. And having to work through those feelings of anxiety can be very triggering. They can be very tiring. There can just be very hard to work with. One such thing that I had this time, not too long ago, was working through some feelings of anxiety while I was grocery shopping. And sometimes, grocery shopping can be a bit of a trigger for me. Just in my life, having struggled, and I say that having struggled in past tense because I want to move forward with money. Just that money and financial stability has kind of always been kind of an issue for me, something that I've constantly had to work on. And I realized lately, like when I went to a grocery store recently, I was feeling tight chested and hard to breathe. And I thought, wow, what's the matter with me? And I realized I'm like, oh, I'm having feelings of anxiety while I'm going grocery shopping, and I wondered why and what was different. And I realized that the usual dialogue that I had in my head, that when I would feel these feelings of anxiety, I would have this dialogue where I would talk myself down from it and remind myself constantly that I could get through it, that I was okay, and all my bills would get paid, etc., etc. I just had this dialogue, and I realized when I was feeling this is that the dialogue was missing that time, which is a really good thing because it allowed me to feel that I'm moving into a different space in my life, one where I might be triggered by something, but I don't have to use the same coping mechanisms anymore because I'm just allowing myself to feel the feeling. And it was a very physical feeling that I was feeling. It wasn't even like an emotion. It was a physical feeling in my body that I didn't feel good. It was hard to breathe, and I was okay. And I had to tell myself that, yeah, I am okay. And to be honest, I got through grocery shopping, paid the bill, and then I got to the car and I cried because I realized that I had done something very differently, where I had not allowed my mind to run away and have all of these different conversations with itself about what was going on or how to make me feel better, that I just sat with it. I just walked through the store. I concentrated on my breathing, concentrated on my grocery list, got what I had to do. And as I move into a better financial situation for myself, I realize that I have to let go of those anxieties over money. Because here's another funny thing. I was out shopping and I was like, oh, I can't afford that. And I kept, then all of a sudden, as soon as I said that, it clicked and I went, how often have I said that to myself lately? And I thought back and I thought, wow, in the last month or two, especially since Christmas, I've told myself this story all of a sudden that, well, I cannot afford that. I can't afford that because I need this or I need that. And yeah, there's such a thing as budgeting and things, but I thought, if I keep telling myself that I cannot afford to do the things that are good for me or that I need to do, I'm going to really start believing that soon. And the more I believe that I cannot afford something, the more that money is just not going to come to me. It's going to flow out the other way. And so that was something that I wanted to share because I thought that was really interesting, is that my brain had started to tell me. So I thought, well, what could I replace that with? Because I know that I'm in a different place in my life. I know that I'm moving in a different direction. And so I want to have the right kind of dialogue in my head. I don't want to keep telling myself I cannot afford things. And so I had to switch that around and say, like, I am able to afford all the things that I need. And I just keep telling myself that, trying to change the dialogue. And this isn't to cover up any of those feelings. It's a way of allowing myself to feel like, oh, my anxiety is trying to take over. Oh, I'm trying to worry about something. And to catch myself when I'm worried and say, hey, do I need to worry about this? Why am I worried about this? Is everything going to be okay? Is it not? And look a little deeper into that rather than covering it up with nicer words. But it is important to change the dialogue and to catch when your brain is starting to tell a story. Because it was telling me a story that I was like, wow, is that even true? And I thought, but it hasn't been true because everything I've needed, I've been able to afford. So I don't want to keep telling myself that, oh, I cannot afford things. I want to say I am able to afford things because that is what's happening. So it's really easy for our mind, our ego mind, to trick us into believing something because we just have this little dialogue. Sometimes it's not even like, as in the first example I gave, it wasn't even words, it was just feelings in my body of anxiousness that I had to work through and then ask myself to be conscious of what it was I was feeling. So, those are some little things to watch out for. Watch out for the physical feelings that something can elicit in your body, whether it's sadness, it's anger, it could be fear. And the physical feelings, again, that those bring out, because that's a cue too. It's not always an emotion, but then also if you have an emotion and you have some dialogue that's attached to it too, because not everyone has dialogue. So those are just some things to think about when something might keep happening or you catch yourself repeating something that you might not want to. So, yeah, join in the discussion. If you've had any of those experiences, please let me know. I'd be happy to talk about it.